I just vibrated again. Did you vibrate?
To be honest with you, this shirt's so tight. I don't know if I can feel anything.
He's numb.
I'm just like, dude, the blood constriction on these arms like pythons.
We gotta put Carson upside down so blood actually returns properly.
Fucking flabby. Flabby. Just these flabby arms of mine.
He's gonna need an IV later.
Dude,
Dude, this is tight.
it's very tight.
Very tight. Is this
I
like
applaud your
Jordan's?
confidence. I would not. That would not be me. I can't have my muffin top out on the internet, dude.
Buddy, I have no shame.
I apparently do. I care about other people's opinions of me. I'm a loser. Cut that out, Mark. In crowded markets, being good isn't enough if potential customers can't clearly see why you're different. Too many businesses blend in, sound the same as everyone else, and then wonder why they're being overlooked. So, how do you position your brand in a way that makes people choose you? And what does it really take to stand out from competitors that are fighting for the same attention? I'm Josh. This is my co-host with the tight shirt, Carson. And on Marketing Fact, we dive into real marketing questions, give expert answers, and share actionable insights we've found to supercharge your marketing by working with 273 plus clients over the past 10 years.
You ever just going to call it the fact?
Nope. Always Marketing Fact.
FAQ and then fact?
Exactly. Carson.
Yeah.
How do I make my business stand out when there are already so many other competitors doing the same thing?
And by doing the same thing, we mean like same business, right? Like, hey, there's a bunch of
Plumbers. There's a bunch of wallpaper manufacturers. There's
Great
a bunch
talk.
of sock sellers.
Yeah. Okay. So funny enough, we just had a client come to us for this. So we have a client, he's a contractor, right? And all the general contractors, we go and take a look at what all of them are talking about, right? You put them into different tiers by business size, offering, employee count. So we can have kind of a matrix of kind of different categories, and we identify where the gap is, right? So he falls in line with, a smaller general contractor. Okay, great. So you are a small general contractor. What are the messages out there today? What are people saying? What do they like? And we discovered a pretty unique way of structuring his business from a branding perspective around the transparency of his pricing and how he does business on, say, no markup on materials, for instance. Like, that was a unique position that no one else is doing. He's still able to compete because we position the brand in a way that allows him to still compete with other businesses from, say, that he's offering greater quality, so he charges more so he doesn't lose out because he doesn't have that markup, but that no markup cost makes him look different when compared with the other people that are in the same kind of, say, price point for a consumer, tier of consideration, things of that nature.
Okay. What if more or less of what I'm doing, a lot of it is the same? How do I find that uniqueness in my business if, hey, I'm a plumber, and guess what? I'm going to go fix your pipes. But the guy down the street, he's going to go fix your pipes. And ultimately what I have to do right now is I have to compete on price. How do I get outside of this competing on price thing in order to try to be competitive?
Okay, well, there's a couple of things we could do. First and foremost, like, are you 100% identical to him? Right? If you're 100% identical, you need to change something about your business. Because otherwise, yes, it will be a race to the bottom. I like to use cars. Cars are a great example for this, okay? A Toyota and a Honda. Lifelong competitors in the car world. They both have doors, they both have steering wheels and four wheels. They'll both get you to and from. What makes them different? What do you know Toyota for?
Reliability.
What do you know Honda for?
Reliability.
Okay.
That's the right answer, right, Mark?
It was the right answer. You both know.
Mark, pull it up.
Still haven't given him a laptop. It's a week later. Still haven't given him that laptop.
In post, pull it up.
Do it in post. But now, what is the one thing if you said, why would you pick, say, which would you prefer actually? Which would you rather drive?
That's a good question. That new Prime, what is it? Prime Prius Prime. I'd grab that.
Okay. Why would you drive that over, say, the Prelude or the Prologue? The Prologue, which is Honda's electric car. Why do you want the Prime?
Prime looks nice. And then also I heard that it can get upwards of like 120 miles per gallon, which is insane.
Okay.
I would never have to stop at a gas station ever.
Yeah, but so think of it that way. If you're looking at two cars, you found a reason that you would rather have that car. So you just said mileage. Okay, great. So there's something different, right? Now, you're still both cars, right? But something about that car is different than the Honda's version of that car. Different enough to you, right? It could be that, or alternatively, something I used to long time ago. I mean, this is 15 years ago. There is a piece of most cars have it, or used to at least, a little plastic piece at the top of your window, of your driver's side and your passenger side, that's just a little bit of a curved piece of plastic. And all it does is that when you crack your windows, you don't get a whistle because of the way that it moves the air.
Oh, I thought it was to keep rain. I thought it was a rain guard.
No, at the very top corner. No. It prevents whistling.
Mark, pull it up. No, I'm kidding.
And all cars had it.
Plastic.
Yeah, it's like a little curve. It's a very little thing. Anyways, all cars had it. But when I sold cars 15 plus years ago, only Mazdas did because I was the only one who brought it up. And then all cars had it, but only Mazdas actually had it because I was the only one who pointed it out. And did that sell me cars? Probably like 2. In all the cars I sold, it probably sold me 2. But it was just the fact that there was something extra that was different, right? Think of it this way. Mazda's whole thing is fun to drive. They're fun to drive, right? They're still cars, but theirs are fun to drive. They're reliable, but they're fun to drive. So you got to find something that makes you different when it comes to branding, especially in a competitive market where everyone does the same thing. It doesn't matter, and it is a race to the bottom. I just moved, okay? I picked my movers based on price. Why? Because for me, I didn't value anything else other than price. Why? I don't own that much stuff. Most of it was easily disassembled into its pieces, so I wasn't worried about anything getting damaged. And anything of like extreme value, I took care and I packed up so that like it would be very hard to break it. So I didn't pay extra for someone who was going to take the extra absolute care of my stuff, right?
It wasn't something that you valued in that buying journey that you were going through.
No. So but the company I picked, they probably have identified me as a persona, a customer that they want. And so they built their brand around targeting other individuals like me. You can't be everything to everyone. That is a number one falling point of most brands, is they try to be everything to everyone. And the biggest example I can use for that is your favorite hockey team. Does your favorite hockey team tell you should love every other hockey team?
No, that's crazy.
No, it's fucking insane. No. If you're a fan of that hockey team, you're a fan of that hockey team. You're not a fan of all the other 31 teams. Okay? Because you're that team's hockey fan. You don't need to be everything for everyone. I don't need to appease if I'm the Vancouver Canucks. Do I care what a Toronto Maple Leafs fan thinks of my team? No. Do I care what Vancouver Canucks fans think of my team? Yes.
Okay. So I hear you on this. You have to be different. And if you are currently not different, something has to change. Change sounds costly, though. Like if my business has been operating and we've been doing the stuff that we do and we do good work, how do I go about taking a different stance for my business without having to go back through like bigger structural stuff, changing how we do? Like how much of this is actually fundamentally changing the business versus changing how it's communicated?
Yep. Did you ever watch Mad Men?
Nope.
So Mad Men has a great scene in it where they're doing cigarettes. So talk about cigarettes ads. It's like, how do you make your cigarettes? Right? And he just runs through the list of processes. And he says that they're smoked. They're smoked. Or yeah, I think it's smoked. I think it's smoked. And it's like, it's like, oh, well, that's why you're different. All the other guys have all these cartridges, but yours are smoked. And it's probably not smoked. I think it was. They smoked the tobacco or something like that. Anyways, there's probably pieces of what you are doing that have been ingrained in your business for a very long time. There might be something that you are doing today in your business that makes you highly successful. You just don't talk about it because you don't think it's of value to your customer. But maybe it is. Change doesn't need to be a big, scary thing that's going to require you to uproot the way you do business. It could be, hey, how about you tell people that you do that? Just tell them. Make them aware, right? Because sometimes what ends up happening as business owners is that you can get into a world of like, oh, they don't care about that. They don't care about that. They only care about this. And you start making decisions for your consumer. And that is the bigger pitfall in branding and getting your message out there, is when you make decisions for them. Don't make decisions for them. Give them the information that they might want. And if you're listening to this and you're going, oh, well, I'm not successful, but I don't think that'll work. You might be the wrong one. Keep jamming your head in the sand. Because if it's not working now and you don't want to change, what's the definition of insanity?
Mark?
It's doing the same thing over again and expecting things to change.
He knew that.
Yeah, from Far Cry.
Hey, there we go.
Albert Einstein.
Well, yeah, but also the guy from Far Cry. No, it's funny that you say that because we actually had a lead come in recently. We're going to be helping him out a little bit with his website and then driving more leads for his business. He has a wedding venue business at his luxury beachside property down on a Australian beachfront. Incredible. $4 million+ property. Insane. And he's like, we're just not as competitive to the big resorts that went up 10 kilometers down the street. Everyone's going there. No one's coming 10 kilometers up the other way to come to my place, which I was the first, the best. Now no one's here. And then when I was talking to him, I think sometimes business owners don't realize their own greatness. Because when I looked at his website, I was like, yeah, it looks pretty. Didn't make me feel any sort of way. When I heard this guy talk about the property, its story, its history, his career, he's an artist. He's a very successful artist. What he went through to even be able to get to the point to have this property, the caliber of other stars that live in this area. I'm like, I got so jazzed up talking to this guy for 10 to 15 minutes about why I would go here and pay twice as much more than the corporate resort down the street because of the privacy, because of the story, because of the access that you told me about. Nowhere on his website. And he's wondering why he's not competitive.
Yeah, because he made the decision a long time ago that he needs to say, or a bigger pitfall, actually, this is probably what's more likely and happens a lot. Oh, well, they do it that way. I need to make sure I do it like them. Okay? If you're a brand new soft drink company, what's the worst decision you can make?
Try to compete with Coca-Cola.
Try to do what Coke does.
Got that right.
Yeah. It's the worst thing in the world because you're not them. You can't be them. Like I even talk about this with people when we're doing ads or we're doing social and stuff like that. They're like, oh, we need to be, making this much stuff and always changing stuff out. I'm like, guys, you guys are spending, say $2,000 a month on ad spend. We don't need to be changing our creative out all the time. We're not driving enough data in or even enough people to see it enough. Coke is spending billions. They do. They're different, right? And you can get to that tier and then you act differently, but you can't start there. So if he's trying to say the same message as the corporate resort, which one's cheaper? Which one looks nice on the website? Oh, they both look nice. If everything's equal and this one's cheaper, money does talk.
Speaking of doing what all of my other competitors are doing in my space, how much should I be paying attention to what my competitors are doing versus just kind of staying in my own lane, doing what I do best?
You need to be aware of what they're doing. Okay? Just so let's put this into practice. You have come to us. We are working through branding and elevating what your message is and how you kind of get your word out there. And then your competitors do the same. If you have not decided to pay attention to that, right? or you've hired somebody, not us, but you've hired somebody, we pay attention. You've hired somebody else who isn't paying attention, and they make a change that makes your change obsolete, you're back in the same spot. Now, it's not a thing where I go, hey, obsess about them. You need to focus on your business and be successful, but you don't wake up in the middle of a dead of night with a hot, cold sweat, like thinking about what they're saying online. But like, be aware.
We have a client like that.
Yeah, we do. Be aware of it though. Be aware of what is being out there. What kind of promotions are they running? What is their angle that they're changing? What are they doing? So that you can either compete directly with it or compete indirectly with it, maybe with a different message that is, saying something different and addresses a portion of audience that they might be alienating.
So know just enough about your competitors that makes you dangerous, but not so much that you obsess that you lose yourself, your business in the mix of it.
See the forest. See the forest for the trees.
See the forest for the trees. See the forest for the trees. I like that. Another good analogy. Okay, I'm a smaller business. I'm going up against bigger, more established competitors. How can I position myself to still win?
Well, let's go start with personas. So a persona is your identified customer of who you really want to target. Coming back to, you can't be everything for everyone, right? So find out what gap of the market is underserved by, say, your competitors, and start there. Niching down is what they call it, right? Identify a very good niche, be very, very executable about that, and grow from there, right? Get a base, be an expert for that base, and then scale.
And then how does that make you win against the bigger people?
They can't be everything for everyone. And they would have to dedicate time and effort to going after that one specific piece of the market, right? So this comes down to, don't compete with Coke. You're not going to win unless you're Coke's size. But there are things that Coke doesn't do well. I believe there's a new brand of soda. They might be owned by Coke or Nestle or whoever at this point. But their whole thing is like the amount of sugar is in the same can, and it tastes like Coke, right? But low sugar or something like that. Don't remember the name. But their entire branding is around that side of healthier ability to drink what you still enjoy. Well, that's why Coke came out with Coke Zero. That's why Pepsi came out with Pepsi Max, I think it's called.
No, Max sounds like it's Max Sugar, you know what I mean?
I don't know what they call
Pepsi has
it.
Pepsi Zero.
Pepsi Zero, okay.
Yeah.
They came
Diet
out with...
Pepsi.
There you go, that's it.
Yeah, sure, that too.
The blue Crystal Pepsi, remember that?
Yeah,
Remember
no,
that?
but I think the Coke Zero and the Pepsi Zero were supposed to still taste like Pepsi, right? Mm-hmm. And taste like Coke. The idea of those to target one specific market, but they are not as popular as Coke is. They have people who like them and stuff like that, but there will be people who are like, I'm not going to drink Coke because it's Coke, but I'll give this a try.
Okay. What parts of a brand matter most when it comes to differentiation? Pricing, service, niche, story, quality, speed. What are the elements of a good differentiated brand?
Okay, so you've listed off a bunch of stuff, and I like to point out you've listed off essentially the ingredients in, say, a good chili. Okay, so I like spicy chili. I don't know about you.
I love spicy chili.
Okay, so chili without spice.
I love spicy hot pot as well.
There you go. So, but chili without spice, is it chili?
No.
No.
Get it out of here. That's just a soup, brother.
So, a lot of the stuff that you've listed is kind of necessity in a brand. You having a breakdown?
Get it out of here. What the hell is this?
It's a very chunky soup. Still mostly beef. Still mostly ground beef. But like, the idea of that though is that you're not. It's not like you can just pick one thing and then run with it. So like, you have this beautiful brand. You have the right message. You have the right target client. You have the right colors, the right story behind it, everything. and then you price yourself 3 times what the average person would spend on your product. You might get sales, but you're then asking all of those other components of your brand to do 3 times the work. So if we look at it from a standpoint of like, you have to make sure everything falls in line and kind of like works together. We have a client who is coming out with a piece of apparel. That piece of apparel, we're going to charge, I think it's like $50 more than the next, than our competitor. Okay.
Which is effectively double the price. Give
Pretty
or take.
close. Pretty close. It's about 40% more. And that means that everything that we, around the product, the message, the story, the brand, has to make up for that. Well, there's features of the product that can make up for it. There's the materials the product is made of that can make up for it. There is, you know, the feeling that the brand makes you have versus like just the other one being just a generic off the store brand. There's a couple other components in a brand price being why you can then justify a price, right? You always have to justify it. Like back to cars. This car, most cars have like 3 trims nowadays. Some have more, but 3. You have your base, your mid, and your luxury. You're fully loaded, right? What's the difference between the base and the mid? Some pretty, sometimes safety features, sometimes some nice to haves. And what's typically your difference between your mid and your fully loaded? All the extra stuff. And then the difference when you're looking at it is like, you got to justify if you want leather nav and that dual moonroof or cooled seats. And you're like, oh, well, it's $10,000 more. Is that enough to do it? See how it's like you have to justify it then. So the pieces and the components that you gave me, those are things that now need to bear the burden if you have priced yourself to a certain extent. Just how your price can also pull down a brand. If you underprice yourself, it can cheapen a brand. Because like, oh, yeah, I love everything you're saying, but you're just cheap. So I feel cheap.
Is it always beneficial for brands to find a way to position themselves, build that brand story around premium and luxury? Or is there actually a strategy, a story of success as being like the low budget option?
Yeah, no frills exists. Like we're in Canada, and no frills exists. No frills. That entire business model of that store, of that grocery chain, is groceries, none of the frills.
Tell me about the no name, no name brand.
It's typically products that are made from the main manufacturer, just without, say, some ingredients or the brand's label on it and stuff.
Love it.
But the point of like no frills is there's no fresh bakery, there's no deli, there's no, frozen this, there's no sandwich shop area. There's none of those, there's no clothing in some of them, like none of that extra stuff. It's just the basics to go. There is a person who is like, that's great. I will go there for that, right? That's what I'm there for.
I just need my groceries.
I just need my groceries. Do you remember what Walmart used to be?
Don't tell me.
What did Walmart used to carry? And this is going back 10,
I was going to say
15 years.
Bookstore, but that's Amazon. 10, 15 years. They used to be a dog grooming store.
General merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
So general merchandise, no grocery.
Yes.
Only Walmart supercenters have groceries. Now, most
Yes.
Walmarts now are supercenters that you can go to. Mm-hmm. But if you go back 10, 15 years, Walmart was general merchandise. So you had extra foods used to exist. That extra foods used to be your grocery store, had a little bit of some general merchandise, not a ton. Superstore was where you got the grocery store with the general merchandise. And then Walmart started to add the grocery into theirs. And now that's how you have superstores and Walmarts competing with each other.
Darn. I feel like I need to read up on that. It's important for me to get caught up to speed.
I have a background in that too, though. Like that's what my background is. So
okay, so definitely, not every business needs to be premium or luxury. There is, if done strategically and done purposefully, you can be a cheaper alternative and still win.
who is your target persona? Who are you wanting to be your customer? If you want the high-end luxury people, you can't be the cheap option. Mm-hmm. That person will not buy you. right? But if you want to be, be based on what you want, that's who you're going to go after and target, then be that to that person. Again, I said it before, you cannot be everything for everyone.
Okay, so once you figure out what makes your business different, who you want to serve, who you want your customer to be, how do you actually go about communicating these values of your brand that are actually going to be in a way that someone actually cares to listen?
Well, you've almost said it in the question itself.
Darn.
Yeah, no.
Too big of a leading question.
No, not at all. So if I'm the target market, right? I am, as a person, I'm not on social media. I am very rarely perusing, any type of, websites and stuff. Like, I'm very much an in the moment type of person. In order to market to me, you have to be where I am, right? So it's at events or it's on billboards and stuff like that, maybe on my TV or in a YouTube ad. That's kind of social media, but like, you have to be where I am, i.e., you have to market in the channels that your target audience relatively intakes and how they want to intake that information. So one business could have 3 or 4 personas. We have a business that has 6, right? Because they have a couple different services. Each of those services serve a different type of person. That person communicates differently, intakes a different type of message, and you have to speak your product or service to that individual the way that they want to receive it. Otherwise, there'll be a disconnect.
Last question. I'm going through this brand building exercise. I want to find what I want my business to stand for, and I want it to last. How do I go about building this competitive edge that will last the tests of time for my business instead of just copying trends or reacting what everyone else is doing?
By being malleable. Bend, don't break, right? So you establish your brand, and let's say your brand is a few different pillars that make you and what you're passionate about you, okay? You need to not, like you said, don't follow the trends and stuff, but also ensure that you are not being head in the sand about some stuff, right? Like, you could be a 40-year-old business in the construction industry and have had great success, but you have kind of, as the times have changed, building a house 40 years ago and building a house today are different. And what you would say was the tenets of why and how you build 40 years ago, there might be essences in your DNA of that. But what you highlight today might be different because what someone cares about today might be different. 40 years ago, no one cared about energy efficiency. Net zero housing is now a thing, right? Think of it like kids, right? You carry your grandparents' DNA in you. We've all heard of, oh, that kid looks like their grandparent, yada, yada, yada. But they're still their own person, but there is still traits to their heritage, right? So it's not a bad thing to embrace your heritage, where you come from, and what has been great about your brand, as long as you ensure that if your persona and who you're talking to changes, huge opportunity with, like, say, Gen Z and millennials and Gen A, whatever we're calling these new ones.
A?
X, I think.
I thought Gen
Are
X.
we at X? I thought we were already
X
past
came
X
before
now.
us. Yeah, because Gen Z.
X came before us?
Yeah. Gen X is before us.
I don't know, dude.
Anyways, we're millennials.
Were you millennial?
Yeah.
I couldn't millennial.
Those people interact differently. They're on different networks. They're different channels. TikTok ads and TikTok is like a bigger thing than it would have ever been 5 years ago, right? So that's how your business can still be your business, but now you have to see how your brand fits on that platform and find the way that needs to get that message there.
Bend, don't break. Evolve with the times, but still stay true to the core values.
That's how you were successful. That's how you got to be in a position where you can do this stuff. And also, big secret, we can all smell a fake. Everyone can from a mile away. It's very common nowadays.
That's it for today, folks. Every episode we put out is built on real, hard-won lessons from the trenches, helping our clients grow, win, and connect with the people they're here to serve. If you found this valuable, subscribe to your favorite platform, and on your favorite platform, not to your favorite platform, and check us out at setsail.ca to learn more about how we can help your business grow. Hit the little clicker. Yes, sir.